Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for October 18th, 2020. So today's already kind of gone off the rails for me. I totally forgot that I talked to my brother and we were going to empty out our garages to help, or clean them out so that our cars can get in the garages now, since we have a little bit bigger cars than we did before. So we did that today. And again, we own a duplex together, so we're right next to each other, so it was kind of helped to motivate each other when they're doing it. Yes, we are procrastinators. Anyway, so I had already showered and gone out for coffee when he reminded me that we were doing that, so yeah, just took a second shower and I'm tired now, so I'm gonna try to make this quick, and not that this is starting out quick. Anyway, so we are in the middle of victober. Work has been crazy again, like it's just this time of year. And for some reason, everything is breaking right before the end of the major season. And it's just like, it's just frustrating. So even when I was supposed to leave at 2:45 on Friday, I didn't get out till 4. So technically I'm kind of in trouble. But there was nothing, I couldn't leave. Like I could not leave it as it was. So it was just, and it was Friday and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so yesterday I did like absolutely nothing. Except grocery shopping, and went to Costco with my brother. But that was kind of like it, and then I read. And I didn't even read as much as I wanted to. So anyway, sorry, this is a really long entry. Now I'm really tired after all my work in the garage, but my car fits so much better. And I got rid of some stuff that I was going to get rid of and cleaned it out. It looks great right now, so we'll go with that. So we're going to talk about the books that I finished this week for victober. Yes, all the books I'm still reading are victober. And it's been a week. Anyway, sorry. So, I'm going to talk about the books I finished, the books I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. Spoiler alert, I don't know what I am doing. Anyway. So, on Wednesday, I finished my Nemesis. The book that has been haunting me since my, I think late teens, early 20s. I must have been, I think early 20s is when I tried to read Wuthering Heights for the first time by Emily Bronte, and I failed. I was in college, and I didn't have to read it for a class, but I wanted to read it, but because a lot of my friends loved it, and I thought, I should read it. Didn't make it very far. I can't say I made it over 50 pages. I don't know if I even made it that far. 10 or so years later, I tried it again. Still couldn't get into it. I got maybe, I would say, a couple of pages in and just gave up. 2 years ago, I picked it up again, going, this is the year, I'm going to do it. I got 30 pages and DNF'd it. So this was book try number 4. I got the audiobook, and I thought, well, maybe this will help me get past the beginning and into it, and then maybe I'll get more out of it. And I did. I did the audiobook with Joanna Frogert, and it was really good, and she did a really good job. I got through it, even though there are parts where I'm just rolling my eyes all the time. So I was definitely in the camp of I hate this book because I could not get into it, and I knew it was a book that is a classic. I did want to read it. I did want to know all the, I knew from spoilery things, the allusions to it, but I didn't know the story. And again, what I knew was kind of vague to what actually happens in here. So I'm glad I finally have read this and I can say I have finished Wuthering Heights. I have not felt this elated of finishing a book since I finished Moby Dick. This is like, I was elated. The rest of the evening, I was just ecstatic. And I couldn't really read anything else because I was just so happy this is done. My Nemesis is done. And this was one of the oldest books on my TBR, so it did help on that challenge, even though I'm failing on getting those books read this year because it's 2020. But I'm so glad this is done. And I'm not going to get rid of this book. I've had this book for, 25 years on my shelf. The point is it's staying here because now I understand what people are talking about it. What it comes down to is I'm in the middle. I understand the appeal of this book, and I understand why people hate it, because again, I was on that side. I would say I was a strong 3 now because I see the literary merit of this. I see a lot of the things that she did, and these are powerful characters who I dislike immensely. I don't think there was a character in here I liked. I was surprised by the end, to be honest. I don't know what I expected. That was not what I expected. So I was kind of pleased with that. It was actually better than I thought it would be. I really thought it was going to go another direction, but this thing did go in ways that I did not anticipate, because again, even though I knew some stuff that happened in here, I have always disliked the idea of this book, and I never really paid much attention. So now I have more allusions to it. Now I will understand things that when it's brought up in other books. I do not think this is a romantic book. I think it is sort of in the tradition of the romantics in some ways with the description and some of its themes, but it really is a just story of bad people and how selfish people who just do everything for their own what they want, and then just kind of want to destroy everybody else around them. I do think it is a book that I'm glad I pushed through and finally finished it. I know it took me until my 40s to finish it, but the point is that I still think it's worth merit. Like I said, I'm decided now that I am going to try to finish all the Bronte books. It wasn't really a goal of mine until maybe this year when especially when I actually got into this far enough where I was like, I'm going to be able to finish it. So now I figure I can finish anything if I can finish this book. So anyway, I'm not going to say I recommend this book or I think it is the best thing ever, but I also understand why people like it, and I understand why it is some people's favorite book. Like, I get it, but it doesn't work for me on so many levels. But I thought the writing was really well done in descriptions. I mean, you just knew you're out on the moors and stuff. It was just, I mean, and these people were just nightmares. Anyway, I'm not going to rant because that's not the point. The point is it actually was better than I thought it was by the time, but at the beginning was just so hard to get into. It was just like watching a train wreck. I mean, it really was for me. And then on Friday, I finished Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. I listened to it on audio by Richard Armitage. That was the audiobook I picked up after Wuthering Heights. And yeah, the audiobooks went well this week because it just worked out. So The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'd read, you know what? I think I read it when Mary Riley came out, the movie with Julia Roberts and is it John Malkovich? I don't remember now. It's been so long now. I kind of want to watch the movie, and I know that there's a book that was actually based off. I think somebody told me that. I'm not right. Anyway, if you know, let me know, because I've been thinking about Mary Riley like the whole time, because it's not even related to this, but that's how I connect to this story, because I read it after watching that movie. I went back and read the original, and I'd forgotten a lot of the way this went. I knew it was short, but I bought this last year so I would be able to return to it this year. And I didn't put it on my TBR, but I was like, it was one of those ones where I was like hoping I'd get to it. And when Audible did the Audible Plus stuff, one of the free audiobooks by Richard Armitage was for The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And it was just over 3 hours, so it didn't take me very long. Anyway, so you probably know what the story is about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I didn't even really explain Wuthering Heights. The whole Victorian literature is a weird day. Sorry. But again, we're talking about Dr. Jekyll, and then how some of his friends are kind of worried about him, and then they're kind of one of them is investigation on this strange character called Mr. Hyde that is associated to him and in his will. And it was, again, I didn't remember much of what I'd read because it's been 15, 20 years. I don't remember. Whenever that movie came out, that was a long time ago. But I did enjoy that. And then I physically read the short story that's in here behind, that I didn't know was actually in here. And it's called the Bottle Imp. Anyway, so this is a short story by him, and it was about a genie in a bottle, a demon in a bottle, really, and how you can get all your wishes to come true when you buy the bottle from somebody else. But the trick is that what you buy it for, you have to sell it for less than what you paid for. So the price over the centuries has been going down because everybody, you buy it for, let's say you started at $1 million, and then the next person buys it for, 900,999, like that kind of thing. And then you can go down, but they might jump by $10 or $100. And then, so when he starts, he buys it for $50. And then it goes on with how he deals with having the power to have what you want. And then what happens when he when and if he sells it. So again, whoever is with the bottle when they die is damned. So they're pretty much going to hell. So it was an interesting look at, it was like, it wasn't quite religious, like it was just like kind of, but it was talking about hell and damnation and greed and other stuff, and it was kind of interesting. Anyway, it took place in Hawaii and another one of the other islands out in the Pacific. So it was kind of interesting. It was kind of a different location. But again, I haven't read Robert Louis Stevenson's, like I read Treasure Island when I was a kid, probably because of the Disney movie back in the day, and Return to to Treasure Island movie. Anyway, I had that long time ago, that book. Anyway, that was the Disney version. Anyway, so that's what I finished so far this week. So, you know, I had 2 audiobooks I finished, and then I did the end of the book. I just wanted to finish the book off so I could mark that down. Anyway, so I, during the week, my focus was trying to read more of Shirley, and this just did not happen for me. I was very much reading my chapters that I need to read for the day. Again, this is the group read, and I never read Shirley by Charlotte Bronte. I've only read Jane Eyre and then one of her juvenilias, The Foundling. So I haven't read Shirley, Villette, and The Professor. So I do want to get to these so that to finish the Brontes, because now I am on track with Wuthering Heights under my belt. So Shirley, it's going much better now. I'm more invested now. So now I'm just over half. As I said, I'm right on schedule. I mean, I'm actually 2 days ahead. I just finished chapter 22. Sorry, 22nd. I can't talk today. 22nd. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Sorry. Chapter 22. Anyway, sorry. So again, this is a story about an area in Yorkshire and how the mills are having trouble because the war, this is taking place in 1811, 1812. So it's during the Napoleonic Wars, and so it's a town and how people are reacting to it, and we're following like a mill owner, and his dealing with people who don't want his machines to come into the area to take up jobs, but he also is trying to survive because of the war. He's not getting contracts because the trading is all messed up because of you know, wartime. And then we have some women who live in that area who are friends or relatives of his, and then the rectors and the curates in the area, and then some other people who are of Providence. And it's really a community book. We're mostly following Caroline and Shirley, which are Shirley's the main character, but not the main character, the title character, but she didn't show up until a third of the way through the book. But it's their friendship, and then also oh, is it Richard or Robert? Moore is his last name, and I keep thinking of him as Moore, and it must be, I don't remember now. My brain just shut down. It's an R name. Anyway, I think it's Robert. Anyway, but he's the mill owner, and so we get his side, and then we get some of the, as I said, some of the rectors. So anyway, I don't know. It's so far, as I said, something big just happened. So it's kind of like just after that, the aftermath of something that happened at the mill. So again, I'm going to continue reading this, at least my chapter to whatever the schedule is. Again, I said I got ahead on Friday. I got kind of ahead over the week, like a little, like a chapter extra here and there. And so this weekend I kind of took off from it to read something else. But I will continue back onto it on Monday as reading my chapters or trying to get a little bit ahead. I don't know. It's, again, reading to a schedule doesn't work for me. Except that I'm not compelled to pick this up, except that it's on a schedule. So anyway, so I'm working on that. The book that I picked up this weekend that I really want to get through, and I was hoping I would just plow through it yesterday because it's really an easy read. It's a huge, big book, and it actually takes me longer to read than I think it will because it's so big, and that is Wagner the Werewolf by George W.M. Reynolds. So this was Penny Dreadful, you can tell. So this is again about Wagner, who is a werewolf, and it's his story. But it has like all these different characters. Like this is very much, Okay, it came out in 1847, and again, it must have been published for several years because it has a lot of installments. I mean, again, I'm up to 46, chapter 46. So, I mean, again, I'm just over half. I was hoping to be so much farther, but I'm only at like 610 pages and I'm only at 345. So I have a long way to go on this, but it's hard for me to pick this book up at night just because after I've read Shirley, then I'm like, then I can only read like a chapter or two. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it. So I did 100 pages yesterday. I'm hoping today to do about the same, maybe. We'll see. Today is already kind of going different than I planned. And I have to cook. I told myself I had to cook at lunchtime. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to make enchiladas. Anyway. But this has been fun. Like it's a light read compared to Shirley and Wuthering Heights and stuff. With a Penny Dreadful, they're I don't know how to say it. It's not that it's bad writing. It's not. It really is just really fast, quick pace, and the plot twists and turns very quickly. It's almost too fast compared to like a sensational novel but it reminds me of stuff that like Dickens and Wilkie Collins do with so many characters and different perspectives, and everybody's so dramatic. Anyway, and again, this has to deal in Florence in 1521, and we're following Wagner and his lady love, and she's got her issues, he's got her, his, and then the people that are all around them, and then they just, where they are now is just unbelievable how they got there, but it just makes me laugh. Anyway, so I read this for the challenge to read something that's like a modern genre, like my favorite modern genre. Anything with paranormal elements is one of my favorite genres. I just love that fantasy element of something it's the real world, but a little twisted, or, with a little twist, and usually a werewolf will do that. So anyway, so I still have over 250 pages to read of that. So I'm hoping to if I can get another 100 today, that would be good. And then maybe next weekend I can finish it off. I don't know. It's going to take me some time. So let's see. I did start another, I'm not thinking. What was it? Oops, that's not what I wanted. Oh, hold on. Okay, so I did start listening to, oh, it's not going to do it, is it? Okay, Mrs. Zant and the Ghost by Wilkie Collins. So it's just a short story. It's only about almost 2 hours on Audible. Again, it was another one of the free ones in the Audible Plus. It's read by Gillian Anderson. So I was like, yay, I'm going to listen to that. So, anyway, so far it's good. I'm only about halfway through this, so I'll probably finish it when I cook at lunchtime. It's just, it's kind of a different story. We're following a woman, who is seen at the park by another gentleman and his young daughter. He is a recent widower, and so he's taking time with his daughter at Kensington Gardens, I believe. And they see this woman and she kind of acts a little strange, and he kind of follows her because he's kind of worried about her mental state. And he kind of involves himself with her and her brother-in-law trying to figure out what's going on. And again, there's like a little supernatural twist because again, it's called Mrs. Zant and the Ghost. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'm halfway through it, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. So, but I'm enjoying it so far. And as I said, I love Wilkie Collins. So I'm looking forward to finishing that off today. I have not touched Night Walks by Charles Dickens. These are some essays of his. I think I read the first 3 last week, and I still have 5 left to go. So I will pick it up by the end of the month. Again, they're essays. So maybe a day when I don't feel like, I don't know, when I get home from work, I'll read some. I don't know. I should. I'll try this week to kind of insert them. Last week was a busy week, and I don't know how this week's going to go for work either, so we'll see. And then I did something stupid and started another book, and I just could not help myself. I'm going to blame Sean the Book Maniac, because, again, I want to read more Elizabeth Gaskell, and I was going to probably read Mary Barton. A lot of people are reading that this month, and I thought, well, I'll try to read that, but with Shirley and Wagner, the Werewolf, I'm just running out of time for a good-sized book like that. So I picked up Cranford by Elizabeth Gaskell. So it's one that I've wanted to read for a while. My version has Cousin Phyllis as well, but I'm not touching that right now. That's if I have time, because it's just 100 pages, I might read that too. But right now I'm just going to read Cranford. So this old version that I got has Cranford in it. It doesn't have the other stories like Mr. Harrison's Confessions and, oh, there was another one. Lady Ludlow's something. I don't know if I need to read those after, but I want to read Cranford at least. So I read the first chapter, and there's 16 chapters. And so I figure if I read a chapter a day, maybe an extra at the end, I could get it done, because they're only about 10 to 15 pages a chapter. So I added another one. I don't know why. I just did. Somebody help me. Anyway, so the point is I will try to read that too. We'll see. And then, and I also haven't, I haven't returned to The Romance of the Shop. Oh, it's not going to pop up. Sorry, guys. So by Amy Levy. I was enjoying this. it's on my phone, and I don't read off my phone very much. I'm a very bad e-reader too. I go through moods and only read things off there that I can't get physically. And I have a real tendency to buy stuff off, ebooks and stuff, but I just don't read them that much. So, I will return to that. I think I'm going to try this next week to do it again, where that's the book I read on my books on my breaks in my lunch, instead of trying to read Shirley. But we'll see. We'll see how I feel. I do want to get back to that. I will get it done by the end of the month, because again, I'm about 35% or 40% of the way through the book. So I do want to finish that one before the end of the month. I keep putting it off. I admit that. And then, let's see if I can pull this up, because I totally forgot about one that I'm going to, my next audiobook, I'm going to, it's not going to show that. That's fine. We'll just, so because of my Bronte project, I've just decided I'm going to bite the bullet and go after the one that I also DNF'd. So I am going to listen to The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. I don't know the narrator's name yet, because it's one of the Audible Plus ones. So I just downloaded it. I didn't get a chance to look to see who that is. And I guess I could look that up. I just kind of, oh no, I got it from my library. That's why I don't know who it was. That was it. So I got it from my library, that one. So, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. So again, I've read about 125 pages, 130 pages in there. So I made it past the point where it switches narrative perspective. But I have not, I DNF'd it. I got so mad. I was so mad earlier than that. I DNF'd it a couple of years ago. And then last year I tried it again and I DNF'd it again. So this is my third try of The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. I'm going to start over from the beginning in the audiobook from the library, and we'll see how it goes. As said, if I got Wuthering Heights done, I'm in the process of Shirley, and then if I get Tenant of Wildfell Hall done, that'll wrap up a lot of the books for the Brontes, and then all I have left is The Professor and Villette. So that would be next year's project. So I think I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see how The Tenant of Wildfell Hall goes. I'm still, I loved Agnes Grey by the end. Like, again, the beginning part was a little slow, but the end was just great. And I was so mad when I read The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, and I just hated, is his name Gilbert? Whatever that guy in the beginning is, I hate him. And it was so hard to read. Anyway, so we will see. But that is everything. Sorry, I've rambled on here a lot, and I've just been a little distracted. Because again, it's been that kind of day. So anyway, I hope your Victober reading is a little bit more organized than mine. I am out of control, and you guys know, I do not read this many books at one time. And I want to read all those little black classics that I have too, which are just little in-betweens, but I can't even finish a book. I mean, I finished a couple books this week, but I wasn't sure I was going to there for a while, because I have so many on the go. And I know I did try to focus down onto one and try to get one done, but I just picked 2 big books and then a lot of other medium-sized books not finishing. Anyway, so that's it. Let me know if you guys are reading. How did you feel of Wuthering Heights? Were you like I was, and you know, or a hate, a love, or now that I'm now finished it, that I'm in the between? I don't know. I just feel really weird. I'm just so glad that's done. You should have seen me on Wednesday. I would just say, again, to my cats, because that's all I was talking to, but I'd be just like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm done. I was so glad. Anyway, I was ecstatic. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.